Hey guys, it's Nibesy Jonesu, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be talking about some spooky games today, in particular from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. So with the Sonic series, there isn't that much variety of spooky stages. However, the Sonic series has never shied away from showing off a more unsettling tone to the overall game series. This unsettling theme can be seen throughout the whole Sonic series, as well as independent and Sonic spin-off games that embrace this theme of showing off the spooky side to Sonic. That is why I am going to be sharing my top 10 spooky Sonic stages you should be checking out this Halloween. If you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below, but please keep in mind this is going to be my opinion on what I think is going to be the best stages for playability, accessibility, level design, atmosphere, as well as a personal preference with these stages as well. And I've also made sure to include a lot of variety for these levels so that you may be interested in checking out these levels for yourself. And the rules for this top 10 are one stage per game, so that means no multiple stages included from one game, because if I did include this list, we could probably include so many Sonic Adventure 2 stages that it would be ridiculous. So without further ado, let's get started. At number 10, we have Sandopolis Zone Act 2 from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Starting off with an absolute classic Sonic stage, I chose Sandopolis Zone 2 because it has got a lot of crazy, awesome, spooky stuff going on. Even though the first act of this zone is not entirely spooky, it does have a very creepy vibe as soon as you walk in to the pyramid at Sandopolis. Straight away, it's super dark, and slowly but surely you will run into the weird spooky looking ghost creatures called Hyudros, I think that's how you call them. Not only do you have to worry about these ghosts that are floating around your head, you will also need to watch out for the platforms that may even crush you at a lot of times. If that wasn't enough to stress out about, you need to watch out for the sand that is slowly rising up, and it is going to crush you if you don't escape from the rising sand in time. And I must say, even though these ghosts are supposed to be very creepy, I do actually find them kind of cute, especially when they have more details showing up when you're running out of time. But if you are someone that is into the classic Sonic platforming, I highly recommend this title. At number 9, we have Haunted Ship from Sonic Rush Adventure. This may be one of the most obscure inclusions for this list, but Haunted Ship packs a punch when it comes to its spooky factor. As soon as you enter the area in the story mode of Sonic Rush Adventure, the tone is set with the music in the background and the eeriness that is to come. As you are blasting through the stage in the classic 2D fast-paced gameplay, you are surrounded by a lot of shipwrecks that seem to be haunted by some nasty ghoulies that will come your way. And I like how this game includes something that you wouldn't necessarily expect, but it works so well with the theme of Sonic Rush Adventure since you ride on the motorboat throughout the majority of the journey on Sonic Rush Adventure. It fits so well with the theme of being by the water, and as well with the main villains being Whisker and his nasty little goonies. And I think this stage has a great design where it is not too eerie to make you very unsettled, but it does give you the uneasiness as you are just sprinting through these ships, flying across where there could be lots of weird ghosts going on. You don't necessarily know what's happened to the ship, probably a lot of people died from some sort of battle. This is a very interesting stage and is probably one of the most underrated choices in this list, which is why I'm placing it at number 9. And especially if you love the fast-paced gameplay, this is going to be a great choice for you. Up next is Lost World Mythic Ruins from Sonic Adventure. Not to be confused with the game with the same name, Sonic Lost World. This stage is from Sonic Adventure, which is in the Mystic Ruins, and this is definitely a personal choice of mine. Overall, I think this stage has a great ambience to it, especially with the sound effects and the music that is in the background. And there are a lot of different levels to this area where there are a lot of dark segments where you have to light things up. There are bright areas with some really crazy ruins everywhere that do look very creepy, as well as a lot of snakes about, so if you're not a fan of snakes, you're definitely not going to like this stage, that's for sure. And just on the fact of where the story leads on at this point, especially with the story mode for Sonic, it fits very well that this stage is unsettling and eerie at the least, as you are trying to find answers about chaos But there is so much going on, like a rock trying to crush you. The ruins themselves are absolutely creepy, weird platforms where you can walk on walls, and it almost seems like you're going to be running into some sort of ritual at some point, especially with the sounds that you can hear throughout the stage. But I think this stage is fairly enjoyable. It can be fairly difficult for some people, but I always have a great time playing this, and it really does run chills through my spine every single time I play this stage. It's just so creepy, but I love it at the same time. Next up, number 7 is Cryptic Castle from Shadow the Hedgehog. Arguably, you could say that this stage is very much similar to another stage that will be included in this list, but Cryptic Castle has its own lore to it. But with that aside, this is still a super creepy stage, especially with the areas where there's walls trying to crush you. There's a lot of areas where you can just fall off into nothingness. There are a lot of hidden rooms that you have to break through, lighting up lanterns, and there are a lot of callbacks to other Sonic stages that have had a lot of Halloween influences. But if this stage is a little bit too creepy for you, you do always have Amy, where you can just follow her and help her rescue Cream, because I know that I wouldn't want to be alone in this area trying to find a friend. And the fact that you have to use torches in certain areas just to progress through this stage in itself has a lot of spookiness going on for it. Although this game isn't the most accessible, I'd still recommend it if you want to give yourself a little bit of nostalgia maybe, or even if you want to try something different. Our spooky number 6 stage is Digital Dimension from Sonic Riders. One of my personal favourites, Digital Dimension is definitely one of those Sonic stages that is going to make you feel very uneasy. As this area is in Sonic Riders, you are blasting through an area which looks like it has a lot of possessed souls, as if you're in some form of purgatory or maybe even hell itself. There's a lot of creepy things going on, especially with the things that are trying to grab you and take you down into darkness of nothingness. And the fact that you get taken straight out of somewhere that looks like hell and then into heaven, and then it just disappears into nothingness when you get towards the end of the racetrack is absolutely bizarre. They could even make you question if this area is real or not, if this is whole a digital simulation and nothing is real. Also, I like how the music in this stage does play into the digital aspect and also the scary feel to this game, since it looks like something that is straight from Halloween but put into purgatory, and it just makes me fear the afterlife. At Fearful 5 we have Mystic Cave Zone from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Another classic inclusion, and arguably this is the first Sonic game in the series to have a spooky theme to its stage. And the music is a great bob along as you are blasting through the zones. The obvious thing that makes it spooky is the choice of the colour palette in the stage. There are a lot of strange machines from Eggman's creations, as well as the platforms and the means to get across the zone is definitely not something that seems very natural or mechanical. It almost seems like it is something very spooky, almost like there's some form of unnatural being or something in control of this zone. It has a very spooky feel to it. So to think of it, we have this zone to thank for all of the future spooky themed stages in the Sonic series. I think naturally this zone has an eeriness to it which doesn't try too hard like the super spooky obvious stages in the other Sonic titles. So if you want something chill and not too try hard for spookiness, I highly recommend Mystic Cave Zone. At freaky number 4 we have Skeleton Dome from Sonic and the Secret Rings. If the name of this stage doesn't get you spooked out, then wait until you play the stage itself. I love how this stage has a representation of afterlife and death, with the whole skeletons coming to life in this area, and as well as the snow, which could be gosh knows what, maybe ashes from people that have passed away in this area. There is also the Skeleton King that hangs out in this area, and I think this stage has great level design and I really like the progression of it as well. And the different missions for this area give it a great overview of the level and sets the tone very nicely. As soon as you come into this stage, it just doesn't feel right. As soon as you come in, you know it sort of looks peaceful at first, but wait until you progress further into the stage and you'll be in for a shock. There are a lot of aspects to this stage that are unexpected and surprising, as you can tell, with lots of things popping up out of nowhere, especially with the skeletons coming to life. And it really takes you by surprise when these spooks come out of nowhere in this stage. At Terrifying 3 we have Haunted Castle from Team Sonic Racing. The most recent addition to the spooky themed levels in the Sonic series, Haunted Castle is definitely one of the most unique areas and stages in the series. Obviously it takes inspiration on Rooftop Run, as the level itself has the landscapes from Rooftop Run in Spagonia, and you can even see the city down below when you are looking through the green see-through racetrack path. And the fact that there are no barriers stopping you from falling off this path, it saves little for the imagination to believe what would happen if one of these characters were to slip off and possibly fall to their death. There's also a lot of weird stuff going on, like the massive clogs that are trying to take you out, and the whole clock spinning on its own whilst it's not even attached to the clock tower. And then obviously the green slime, which is a great homage with the House of the Dead racetracks that are from the previous Sonic racing games, as well as the knights that are coming to life trying to chop you down with their axes. It is absolutely hectic, but really spooky at the same time. There are even secret paths that you can discover by breaking through the walls, as any spooky themed Sonic stage would have. The music definitely backs up the spooky theme to this stage. Even before the game was released, we got a great feel of how spooky this level was going to be, especially with the violins in the background, as well as Jun Seun from Crush 40, absolute legend. Although in a racetrack it can be quite long, but it does have a lot of interesting things to see and discover in this racetrack, and as well, the music is an absolute bop. At Treacherous 2 we have Mystic Mansion from Sonic Heroes. Wow, this was so unexpected that I would include a stage from Sonic Heroes, but of course I had to include Mystic Mansion from Sonic Heroes, and it is definitely one of my favourite spooky themed stages because it has it all. When you thought that Hang Castle couldn't get any spookier, Mystic Mansion is definitely the stage that tips you over and creeps you the heck out. Not only does it have amazing Halloween themes with the pumpkin skulls and the wallpapers, even the floor, there's so much that is going to creep you out in this stage, especially with the pumpkin head ghosts that will just pop out of nowhere, and the fact that you have to put on these switches that can even alter the dimension that you're in currently, as well as changing the gravity even. This is definitely one of the most strangest and odd stages in the Sonic series. There are so many scares in this stage, even the characters get jump scared themselves. I love how the spookiness of this stage builds up from one part of the stage to another. It just gradually gets more and more spooky until you are finally out of the mansion and you feel a great relief and you are finally in the light and away from the creepy ghoulies that were in that mansion. Even though this game has a lot of nostalgia, there is one other stage that has a lot of spookiness to it, but also has so much nostalgia. And at the top of the list, at number 1, we have Pumpkin Hill from Sonic Adventure 2. It has everything that you will need for this Halloween. It has the scares, it has the level design, the music, the enemies. This stage has it all. And as well, for me personally, it gives me so much nostalgia just playing through this game, and it definitely gave me the creeps when I first checked it out. There are a lot of things to this stage that put it up at the number 1 list, such as you are surrounded by floating platforms, giant pumpkin head platform things that are just staring at you with really creepy and scary faces. The ground is a pit of black and nothingness, and the fact that you bounce off this thing is just insane. There are a lot of awesome things to check out in this stage as well, such as the different mountains that have their own theme, like Pumpkin Mountain, Church Mountain. There's so much to check out to give you the creeps. Being on this stage really gives you the feeling that you're trespassing in an area that you're not supposed to be, since it has so much unnatural areas that are something that are definitely going to make you feel spooked out. So that concludes my top 10 list of spooky Sonic stages that you should check out this Halloween. Please let me know what you think about this list and if you'll be checking out any of these stages in the comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can check out all the other awesome videos that I've done for the special Halloween occasion. But for now guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you all have a spooktastic day and I will see you in the next video of whatever I make next. Until then guys, see ya!